Hello there. The story I'm going to read today is called Merlin for Sherman, written by Julie G. Helm, illustrated by Debbie G. Carey. A high-flying adventure. In a small western town, upon a green hill, lived Sherman McPherson McPhee, who was ill. His sickness had caused the whole town to talk. You see, poor Sherman could no longer walk. Each time he tried standing, his legs got the shakes. Poor Sherman would stumble and sob from his aches. "I can't," he would cry as he clung to his bed. "It hurts when I try. I'd rather not instead." Soon days turned to weeks, and weeks turned to months. But Sherman refused to walk even once. So out of his window, poor Sherman would stare, hour after hour, confined to his chair. Till one night, when Sherman was awfully bored, busy grinding his teeth and feeling ignored, he heard his bedroom door go crickety-squeak. But he didn't look up, not even to peek. Instead, he shouted, "Get out! Go away! I feel yucky and tired. I don't want to play." But the door burst open in a flash of light. A man stood before him, his beard smoky white. "My name is Merlin," said the lanky old chap, who wore a long robe, silver stars on his cap. "Far from here I have a powerful friend, but without your help her life will soon end." "You want my help?" asked Sherman, shaking his head. "From a boy who can't even climb out of bed?" "Please," argued Merlin, "you can't just sit there. My friend doesn't have a moment to spare." Merlin reached up his sleeve and pulled out a wand. Sparks went flying as it began to respond. From a nearby cloud, to Sherman's wonder, sprang a magic carpet born of thunder. The carpet gleamed like the sun in the sky. It soared, it swooped. Wow, that carpet could fly! In through the opening window it flew, dropped near Merlin's feet, awaiting his cue. And, oh, Sherman's eyes, they nearly popped out. Merlin had magic, without any doubt. "Jump on," Merlin told him. "Let's get on our way. When a friend needs our help, we must not delay." It's time, Sherman thought, to get out of this jam, no matter how sad, sore, or sick that I am. So Sherman sat up, gave one mighty push, and fell on the carpet with a great big whoosh. Merlin hopped on. Out the window they fluttered. Some strange magic words Merlin then uttered. Tyrannosaurs, stegosaurs, pteranodons too. Take us to the land where dinosaurs grew." Sherman gulped loudly and rubbed at his eyes as they zipped past some giant blue dragonflies. The carpet veered, then dropped with a rumble, landing in a vast tropical jungle. "Sally," Merlin called, "can you hear me? I've brought a friend who can help. Come and see." From out of the jungle, near a tar pit, Sally croaked. "Why, help us, spike-tailed misfit!" Sherman peered into the brush, but saw nothing more than a weary, forlorn, sick stegosaur. "What's wrong with you?" Sherman asked in dismay. Poor Sally looked up from the ferns where she lay. "Hasn't Merlin told you?" she grumbled with shame. "The terrible tale of how I got lame? I was scrounging for food in a misty fog when my foot got caught and I tripped over a log. When at last I tried to lift myself up, both my legs buckled. I fell down, ker-plop. So for weeks I've hid by this black, sticky bog, watching snakes and lizards and an occasional frog." "Wait," said Sherman, while scratching his head. "You can't just lay here in constant dread. Perhaps over time your lameness has ended. Try to get up. Your legs may have mended." All of a sudden, from a neighboring shore, came the thundering cry of a tyrannosaur. The tyrannosaur crept to the edge of a glade, then, snarling, looked down to where Sally still laid. "Oh, no!" cried Sally. "You must run while you can. That monster, without doubt, would dine on a man." "No," Sherman said, though his face was all ashen. "Merlin will save us in magical fashion." But as Merlin grabbed for his wand in a rush, it got stuck in his beard and fell in the brush. The tyrannosaur charged with incredible speed. His leaping and roaring caused quite a stampede. Sherman saw then that it was up to him to save them all, yet their chances seemed slim. He got up, wobbled, and walked with a grin. His legs hurt a bit, but he wanted to win. Then he picked up a stick and dipped it in tar. Steadying his arm, he threw it real far. The tar struck the fierce hunter on the face, slid into his eyes, and slowed his pace. Sherman yelled at the monster, charging all three, and told him to go climb a sycamore tree. Now, Sally realized this boy's only a tot, and to stand up to this beast sure means a lot. So, with one big grunt and two mighty heaves, Sally climbed up from her bed of soft leaves. the pain swiftly came, which she'd tried to elude, but it was better than being tyrannosaur food. Sally lifted her tail and whipped it around so hard her spikes left a hole in the ground. The tyrannosaur fled. He'd seen quite enough compared to these two. He just wasn't tough. "You did it!" said Merlin. "We did it," said Sherman. "Did you see that overgrown lizard a-squirmin'?" Sherman had learned a valuable lesson this day. From your pain and troubles, you can't run away. Then on to the magic carpet they jumped. Next stop, Sherman's house, as they bumpity-bumped. And Merlin promised the nice stegosaur, "One day we'll come back and visit some more." So, in the twinkling of Merlin's magical eye, the carpet whisked them to Sherman's neighborhood sky. They dashed through the open window and hovered at Sherman's bed. He was tucked in and covered. "Thank you," said Sherman, hoping Merlin would stay. "My boy," Merlin whispered, "you'll now be okay." Merlin's carpet then circled once round the room. Then out through the window he shot with a zoom. A tear of joy rolled down Sherman's cheek. He felt happy and brave and no longer weak. Though time moves forward for the young and the old, Sherman's friends would live on, their story retold. In the coming days, the whole town would talk about the great news: Sherman can walk. In a small western town, upon a green hill, Sherman McPherson McPhee lives there still. Remember, within you lie great possibilities. Merlin.